Welcome back, everyone.
Hey guys, we're your boyfriend twins,
We're the same.
but different. And we're not really boyfriends.
And we're also not, actually related.
Yeah, we're just like, instead of creating Mew in the lab, they created a different Pokemon that's just much worse and much more annoying.
They did. If you understood that reference, you're a virgin. No, I'm kidding.
Truly,
I
honestly,
shouldn't say that.
if you understood that reference, get a job. Go outside and get some grass.
Oh, Lord.
Taha, how are you?
I am pretty well. I'd say that overall I've been pretty great. I was really excited about the podcast being launched, and it sounds like people were enjoying it. I was also just telling you about how I've never seen quite as many horny comments, and I think I'm just getting used to your audience as well. You know, it's interesting. I think I love that. It's very nice. It's great for the self-esteem. I'm just getting used to it.
It's
How
an
are you?
interesting vibe for sure. I will say it's interesting. It depends on my patience level sometimes with all the horny comments, because I can't legally get mad at it. You know, I've seen my Instagram, I've seen my Twitter, I've seen my TikTok. I completely understand where it's coming from. But at the same time, sometimes I imagine the comment section in a post as like a bunch of friends gathering in a circle. And when it's just like titties, titties,
Yeah.
flash emoji, milk,
Yeah.
mommy milk. Like,
Yeah.
I am sometimes like, how do you act in public? And what is the difference? And how can we get back to maybe pretending like we're in public? Like,
So
where
I think it's the same thing with Pornhub comments, right?
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely.
I think it's a similar vibe where I'm like, maybe this is a space where they celebrate how turned on they are by other people, perhaps.
My
or-
comments. Wait,
You know,
wait,
I don't know.
are you trying to imply that my Instagram comment section is a space of celebration?
Yeah, of your body. Why not? Because the comments aren't even who agrees that they want to suck on Kevin's nipple like he's their birth mother. They're literally just like,
don't speak
nipples.
so soon. Listen.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
Do not speak that into the universe, because you know how shitty things can get. Be careful what you wish for, bitch.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How is your week?
Oh, it was good. It was fine. I mean, again, a lot of my week was kind of consumed by the podcast just to see what
By the
was
podcast.
happening.
That was so
Yes.
American. By the podcast.
I'm
Say
sorry.
college?
I'm so sorry. College.
College.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I
College.
see vowels and I pronounce them.
Are you saying that because I'm an immigrant?
Excuse me while I back up into this bush.
Fun activity that I've discovered over this past week while our podcast gained a little bit of traction
Well,
was
hold on. If your week was a sex position, what would it be?
it would be, okay, I'll tell you. If my week was a sex position, it would actually be any position, but the main thing that I want to emphasize here is that I would be wearing a mask with your face on it. And I know that's not a position, but let me explain why.
No.
Okay,
that makes
the reason
complete sense, actually.
So let me tell you why. Because my new activity I discovered this week was I can just film myself saying racist things, upload it from our podcast page, and be like, hey guys, Kevin has a message for everyone. And they're like, oh my God, Kevin, why would you say that? And so my favorite sex position is
AI
being
my
you.
face.
Yeah. I don't even need deepfake because I don't support AI. I'm ethical.
Without context, there is so much trauma to unpack with that sentence, but
Thank
I
you.
completely get it. I really listen. I get it.
Kevin, what was your
That's
week?
me.
Like, give me
I'll
a
fight
sex
for you.
position. Give me a sex position roundup.
You know what? If my week was a sex position, I think it would be, it's not so much a position, but I would be giving myself blue balls, like, voluntarily. Because
Yeah.
as my relationship with my ex deteriorates or becomes less of a relationship and more
Sure.
of a thing that was, I am fighting myself, like, going out of my way to, like, be a little more slutty. But
Yeah.
I still have the same temperament I have always had for my entire life, where I don't want to leave the house. So I've been like teeing up all these hookups and then canceling them all. A lot
Sure.
like we talked about last week, where I'm like, I don't work that hard for what
No,
I
you're a
have
very
to,
lazy
when I have to
pillow
get it done.
princess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're very
but
welcome.
in this
And
circumstance,
yeah.
this pillow princess is asleep by herself.
were you in a monogamous relationship?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
were
yeah.
you okay? So you haven't had sex with another partner in quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like since
Isn't
the
that such
breakup.
a funny I find this is the most like volatile, scary part of a breakup for me at least, where I'm like so excited sexually at the act of like being able to have sex with like a wider variety of people, but my heart is still shattered, trampled on. I remember
Mhm.
when I first had sex after my breakup last year, I came home and I just scream sobbed in the shower. And I was biting my tongue after the sex because he's like, "Oh, want to cuddle?" And I was just biting my tongue because I was going to start sobbing because I was like, I am starting to forget what his body felt like. How's that?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I don't know how to
Yeah.
unpack that, friend.
No, there's nothing to unpack. I'm telling you that you're probably in a similar situation, and I want you to take notes after you have sex for
Oh,
the first time
well,
and tell me
hold
what
the
you feel
fuck
like.
on. How dare you? How dare you imply that I'm scream crying into my pillow at night?
You're
I
not scream
we're
crying because you're not having sex because you're sleeping.
That's tea. I will say
Yeah.
I am not someone who's going to let their emotions out. I keep them inside and let them turn into scary wrinkles on my face. That's the MO.
Yeah, Kevin, I can confidently say that you didn't need to confirm to me that you're not going to let your emotions out, but for those of you listening, he said it himself.
And on the
Kevin
video
is
podcast, you can see all of those wrinkles right
yeah,
here. A little
yeah.
bit of redness too in the skin.
Yeah, Kevin's like poking a bear sometimes if he doesn't feel like expressing.
No,
It's
I'm not poking the
fascinating.
bear because I haven't been having sex.
No, oh ha 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 ha.
Eh,
Kevin is the bear.
I wish. Ugh,
No, shut up.
I guess. Actually, I guess. I get yeah. I have a love-hate relationship because here's the thing. I love a good insulting classification. Like I love calling a loser a twink. I love it. But at the same
Good.
time, I'm like so many people use like twink, otter, bear, twunk. Like
Oh
it's
God,
there's so many
yeah.
different nonsense classifications in the
Uh,
gay culture space that it
yeah.
becomes almost based on vibes and not even based on rules anymore. Like,
Sure.
and I don't
It's
even think it's good that
bizarre.
there are rules. Like, it's so weird
No,
because like
it's bizarre.
the
I don't get
the
it.
bully in me wants to participate so badly, but the person
Yeah?
who's like actually sane, the small voice in the back of my head that like knows,
Yeah.
is like, what are we doing? Come on.
The only thing I will say about that is I do like the classification demon twink because I think we do need to categorize specifically, especially those annoying little, it's those evil little white twinks that have had like 3 ounces of trauma and are like, oh my God, like I'm going to be mean to everyone for the rest of my life because my parents weren't happy I was gay. I'm like, can you calm down? At least your government's not trying to behead you. Like, fucking chill out. God damn it. Oh,
It
they're
seems
so
like we're
annoying.
displacing a lot of rage onto the skinny white twink today. Do you want to
No, the
talk about
demon
that one?
twinks. There are many nice
Demon
white
twinks.
twinks. It's the demon twinks.
What's the difference between a fine twink and a demon twink?
I will tell you, I actually saw a video on this recently. So a demon twink is a twink who
I've
grew
never
up
seen
or
you with so much light behind your eyes, by the way.
oh, trust me, I am ready. This is my moment. A demon twink is a twink that does not have a handler and has not had a handler for a while. Do you know what a handler is?
I hope it's not what I'm currently thinking, but go ahead.
It's not what you're thinking. A handler is a woman friend of a twink that takes care of them emotionally and makes sure they don't like, go off the rails or
Okay.
behave inappropriately. So every
Good.
twink needs a handler, okay?
Okay.
So what that means is that they don't know how to act in public. Their interactions with men are purely based on like dating apps and sex apps. So all of their kind of all of their interactions are very transactional and they're very mean except for towards people they're sexually attracted to. Whereas handlers are the people in their life who give them fun, social, platonic interactions that help them become more human. So that's what my interpretation of a demon twink is. They don't have to be white, also. It's 2024. Everyone can be annoying.
That's so true. It's 2024. Everyone can be annoying. Oh, speaking of demon twink, though, I was at the
Yeah.
queer teas this week.
What are the queer teas?
Exactly. No, so the
What?
Queerties are a gay award show, essentially. They
Ooh.
are a relatively well-known event for just like queer entertainment.
Sure.
It's great. It was great. It was cool. Jinx Monsoon was the
Yeah.
host. There's a ton of gay
Ooh.
celebrities there. It was very, very cool. I have a few thoughts. Maybe I'll get into them, but it's interesting that you mentioned Demon Twinks because I feel like the difference between an annoying twink and a demon twink is literally like drugs. Like I feel like just
Oh,
being high is the difference that turns that demon that turns that twink into a demon. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean I didn't really experience that many demon twinks at the queer teas personally. You know what's weird? Okay, I will get so frustrated with this because
Okay.
I don't believe that I'm straight passing. I think anyone who thinks I'm straight has no idea how to look for a straight person. You know, like anyone who's like, I thought you were a straight guy. I'm like, then you're not paying attention to the world around you. That's how I
Potentially, but it
feel.
depends on their exposure to queer people. Like,
Sure. Well, then you're not paying attention. If you don't know queer
yes,
people
okay, I
enough
see what
to
you're
know if
saying.
I'm
Yes.
gay, then
Yeah.
you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that is
I think
correct.
that's a fair barometer. So at the queer teas, it is this really just like beautiful place where everyone is safe to express themselves, wear wonderful fashion, looking cool, looking great. And I, as someone who I don't really believe I have that much style. I think I have a nice body. I think I have a nice way of presenting myself, but I do think
Okay.
like at best I look like I'm ready for like a fun business meeting, you know? I
Yeah,
don't
I
think that I
agree.
have any real knowledge of how to like put myself together in an interesting fun way.
You've
I'm
said before too that you don't care to like go shopping and like you don't care to like go and seek out clothes that you want to wear. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because one, I don't like spending money on something I don't like a week later. And two, I don't know enough about what I want that when I am presented with so many options, I get overwhelmed. Plus, when you're at like a department store, it is so frustrating because of course the clothes aren't going to be like perfectly form fitting. They're going to have their base sizes and you're just going to have to deal with that. And I hate it.
What makes you think you're not going to like your clothes the next week?
Well, because it's different when you're in a fitting room and things are like 90% correct. And you're like,
Yeah.
if only like the bottom was a little longer, right? Or like, if only this like fit my chest like a little tighter here. And then you're like,
Sure.
well, it's good enough. I'll buy it. Then you take it home and it sits in your closet forever because you're like, well, it's not my favorite. And almost I'm like waiting for an event to wear it. Like, I don't want to buy anything that I'm not excited to have. And I've never
Yeah.
been to like a Macy's and been like, wow, the
Okay.
options, you know?
That's
That's what
fair.
I mean.
Sure.
So essentially, I get really insecure in like queer spaces only because everyone there, for the most part, has worked to develop their style, how they want to be perceived, because they have to. They're
Hmm.
queer POC who don't get the liberties in this world that just regular white straight people are allowed.
Sure.
So I always feel like an intruder in these spaces sometimes because I just showed up in my fucking button up and some pants and I'm like, hi, I'm here too. I was invited by my friend who's trans. Like I feel so
Hmm.
silly because
Hmm.
I don't feel like I don't feel like I've worked hard enough or like I have earned my dues into that space. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's interesting. I
Okay.
part of me wishes more people felt like I did because I think sometimes it's like David Archuleta was performing and no disrespect to
Yeah.
David Archuleta, but also he wore this like actually a little disrespect. I don't we're not friends. I don't care.
Okay.
He wore this like crop top. No, he wore this like mesh top with pants. And someone on Twitter was like, he really came to play. Sis is
Yeah.
eating. And I'm like, he's not
Yeah.
eating. He wore a shirt and he
Yeah.
is a person you want to have sex with. Let's calm the fuck down. This isn't impressive.
I guess.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think I see what you're saying. I also do want to challenge something you're saying. So I appreciate you calling out the fact that obviously queer people of color, there is a certain degree of meticulousness that we have to display to be considered equal to folks that are white and don't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that what you said is true. But I think what is simultaneously true is the fact that you have an online community that cares about you. It isn't just people who are like, oh, Kevin's hot, so I'm gonna follow him. Like you've been making content and you do a lot of cool stuff. Like I had a lot of people message me and be like, oh my god, I love Kevin McDonald's stuff. Well, they call you
Ugh.
your friend Kevin. I love Kevin's stuff. And so you need to also be a little bit kinder to yourself and not immediately be like, oh, I don't deserve to be here. There are a lot of people who haven't earned their spots and who aren't doing a ton. I see you put a lot of effort into what you're doing. Maybe not right now as you wear a tank top and literal boxer shorts. However,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just making fun of you. It's
Are we
because, okay,
being nice or are we being
be nice, but
mean?
then I want to be
Wow.
nice. I saw you rolling your
Wow.
eyes, so I was like, I'll
These
make
are
Kevin
not
laugh.
boxer shorts.
No,
How dare I
if
am wearing
okay, no,
I
no,
am
no.
wearing these
Okay,
are
go show me.
excuse me, these are
Yeah.
hand-me-down sweatpants. I'll have you know that I got these
Uh-huh.
from a friend who did not want them anymore. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you know what? Okay. So I saw you rolling your eyes as I was being nice to you. So I was like, I'll make
Yeah,
a little
bitch, what are
joke
you,
and
my
make fun of
therapist?
Kevin. I'll make fun of Kevin. It'll warm him
Dare
up to
you.
the
How
compliments
dare
and
you.
open up his like emotional pores so they can suck in the words
People
I'm
on the video
saying.
cast can see these nice gams. Look at this. Look at that calf. I'm
That is a nice
insecure, so
calf.
I'm insecure now. Can you tell?
At least you're insecure and hot. Some of us are just ugly.
Name them. Name them.
Anyways, what were you saying about? No,
Great.
what you said about the David Archuleta thing is so real. Where it's like, is it fashion or do you just think they're hot, or are they just skinny? Also,
Yeah.
that's a huge one. Where I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Is it fashion or is it a man who's 6 foot? Calm down. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. Yeah.
yeah,
I think not enough people know the difference between style and fashion, because you can be fashionable, but there's
yeah,
also so much underappreciation for someone who has developed style. Those are different
sure,
things. And I think that there's just not enough people, I mean, online specifically, I just don't think people
yeah,
get enough credit for having a style. And I'm so
totally.
impressed with people who develop that kind of stuff. You know, someone who
I
can walk into a thrift
remember.
store or anything and like find something that will fit them and find a way to make it their own. I think that's such a special talent. I think it's so cool.
I agree. And I think it's like, yes, there are trends, but like, to what degree do you embrace those trends and have it fit, like you said, your signature style? Like, I saw this post that was showing Anna Wintour today versus like 10 years ago. Her outfits don't look like they're from different decades, but they still manage to
Hmm.
be fashionable in both images, which I thought was really interesting because I was like, okay, there's like a timelessness that people can achieve if they kind of veer away from the fast fashion trends and look into more like general broader trends and see what about those that like they like, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool and interesting. But
Also,
no, I
style
totally
doesn't
agree.
cost money. Fashion costs money. Style
Mm,
doesn't necessarily cost money. Granted,
absolutely.
time and resources, yada yada yada. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, for sure. Like a well-fitted white t-shirt and nice jeans can be an incredible outfit if you have the eye for like fit and texture, for example.
Speaking of though, speaking of something that is painful to listen to, I do
Mm.
want to hear your thoughts on Ariana Grande's new album, because this seems to be like
Oh,
the topic of the town.
yes. You just had a breakup and that album is coming out. Has come out. That must be really hard.
It's fine.
Well, okay, I really love the album.
You
Okay,
do.
I don't. Oh, I adore the album.
Okay.
What are my thoughts on her personal life? I don't know, and I totally understand and agree with people who might be like, there's an ethical implication to supporting adultery. I'm like, I am thinking about her music as a standalone piece, and when I'm listening to it, I'm thinking this is an individual who had an experience. How her experiences being channeled into this track list, and she's done a very good job.
Who asked you about adultery?
Well, I mean, listen to her album. Come on. The boy is mine. And all you do is think about the fact that his wife is listening to it with their kid that he just abandoned for her. And you're like, really, Ariana? The
I
boy
think
is
we're
yours. Like, you have him now. It's fine.
Okay, here's the thing.
Whoa.
We're gonna go in complete different directions here because I have
Let's
some
go.
wild thoughts. First of all, I actually don't think the album is all that special, but the music doesn't speak to me. However,
Okay.
I don't understand any perspective of blaming the woman for a man leaving for someone else. Like, I don't think it's fair to make a song so specifically pointed about like a moment in time. If Ariana Grande had the idea to write That Boy Is Mine, kind of how she's been, like, that's her vibe. That has been something that she
Yep.
has like
Break up with your
expressed before.
girlfriend. Yep.
I'm bored. So like, I don't think this is so pointed, and I don't think it's necessarily fair to be like, how dare she split up a family, as if the man had no decision, as if SpongeBob over there with his weird
Yeah.
teeth is sitting being like, oh, but I love my wife so much. Please, Ari, don't break down my
Stop
door.
it.
Like, what
Look,
are we
I
doing?
I agree. No, I agree with that, and I would say that like there is a degree of accountability people should take for being complicit in that situation. But you have a good point. Even when we started talking about her album right now, it's not like I said, "Oh yeah, her and the man who left his family." I was like, "Oh yeah, her and the family that she whatever." So I really did actually lead with that. So I think that's a very fair call out.
That being
And
said,
I
okay,
do
what
agree.
annoys me about Ariana Grande is here's the thing. She has the voice of a fucking angel. She is one of
Yeah.
the most beautiful singers of our
Yeah.
current generation. She is
Mm,
so at
yeah.
creating sonic waves that just
Yeah.
hit my heart in a
Yeah.
beautiful fashion.
Yeah.
But why is every one of her songs in her albums sounds the exact same? Why does
No.
every song sound the same to me? Every time she comes out with an album, I feel like there's 3 titles that I really
Okay.
enjoy, and the rest blend together in a way where I can't differentiate what they are. The
I
last
think
album
that
had the
might.
same thing. Sweetener
Mm,
had the same issue for me. And I
mm,
don't understand. I think it's this like I feel like it's not I don't know because like with Dua Lipa, she
yeah.
can I mean Future Nostalgia is a no skip album
Hold
for
up.
me.
You're complaining about Ariana Grande's music sounding similar to each other and saying, but Dua Lipa, by the way, I love Dua Lipa
No,
and her music. I think
exactly.
there are a lot of overlapping themes and they're great.
Totally. I think each
Continue.
song in Future Nostalgia sounds different, however, thematically fits into the same theme
Yeah, sure.
musically versus like same with Beyonce and Renaissance. Like there is a very
Mm,
clear inspiration and there's a clear through line, but no song is like, oh, this is like kind of like that other one. With Ariana Grande, consistently each
mm,
album, I feel like most of the songs sound the same to me. As much as I love
interesting.
to dog on Taylor Swift, she is so good at creating an album that is like just perfectly executed in the way that a narrative is told while not feeling like she's dwelling on anything.
Interesting.
And I just like that's my biggest problem with Ariana Grande because I want to like her music. I want to enjoy it, but I feel like every time I
Mm,
listen, I'm like,
mm.
wait, how many songs have gone by? Wait, what was the title of that one? Like, I don't feel her singles are great, but like, I can't remember the last time I listened to something that wasn't a single.
Okay, so I don't have that issue with Ariana's album at all, to be honest. Like I feel like there's some nice transitions while also having some pretty clear like dividers between each song. I
All right,
do
fair
see
enough.
what you're
We disagree.
saying. I do see what you're saying, and like I can understand what you're saying, and I can understand why Renaissance doesn't have that issue at all. I think Renaissance is so excellent.
I mean,
Um,
Beyonce is my pop girly. Beyonce
of
is the
course.
number one to me. I don't think like
Yeah.
when it comes to this current status of artists, I don't think
Yeah.
anyone compares.
No, no, no. And not to
Respectfully.
bring up this like pop diva like face off, even though they like not to bring this up topic, it's been
Yeah.
hammered to the ground. There is no question, and anybody who says that Taylor Swift is a better performer than Beyonce is just objectively incorrect. Her shows are performance based. She is a dancer. She can do such incredible stuff. Does that mean that Taylor Swift's concerts aren't good? No, her concerts are great. And what makes them so special is her beautiful connection with the fans. She really, her persona or her role as a pop singer really does involve being kind of more vulnerable with her audience and kind of talking to them. Whereas with Beyonce, I would say that there might be some of that, but there's more of a wall where it's like, watch me and enjoy me. With Taylor Swift, it's like, watch me, but also engage with me, causing a deeper parasocial bond, which makes people enjoy the stuff more. But that does not mean that Beyonce is objectively not a better performer. She just is.
For sure. And I also do hate the I mean, it's impossible to do this online anymore because nuance has gone completely out the window, but I
No,
do kind of hate
completely.
how people are like, stop comparing divas. It's like, okay, allowed to talk about art in a way where one can speak to me and one can't. I have a
Yeah,
respect for both artists. And if
yeah,
you're just going to shut me down and being like, stop comparing women, then in a way, you are kind of just consuming without allowing anyone else to speak on what you're consuming. And I do get
absolutely.
that people take it way too far. And there's a point where you're
Yeah,
like, let's stop blaming women for existing as a media, you know? But
sure.
I do really despise like the let's stop comparing women. It's like, or Or
Noah.
we
Yeah.
can talk about how things make us feel.
Yeah. I think conversations are important, especially with, like, for example, the Taylor Swift Beyonce thing, where it's like, on one hand, you can go into the conversation and be like, I acknowledge that these are completely different genres, right? But
Mhm.
on the other hand, I think there is value in talking about what makes them successful. And there's value in talking about the fact that, frankly, the standards for racialized people in any industry will always be higher, right? And I think that's a conversation that has already been also talked about a lot when comparing the two concerts or performances. Are we saying that conversation isn't valuable because we're talking about two women performers? I don't think that's fair. I think that I agree with you, and that I don't think it's productive to be like, let's stop comparing at all. Love and light, positive vibes only. It's like, no, I mean, there's always important stuff to dissect, and it
Totally.
can help us understand things better in the future
That
contextually.
being said, Megan the Stallion's better than Nikki. She's my queen. She always has been. I'm gonna twerk on the camera for my Megan. Hell yeah.
You know, Kevin, I did say I was going to use pictures of you for my dating apps. I was like, maybe if his twerking is good, I can use it as a video because I can't. But unfortunately, you're as hopeless as I am. You look like that mosquito arch back emoji, just like I do when I try to do that. So,
You don't think this is gonna bring
have
all
you
the
seen
boys
that
to the yard?
mosquito emoji? It's like,
I haven't.
well, it's a shame, Kevin. You have a very like objectively beautiful body. So maybe if you learned how to work it a little better, it could be very helpful for you.
No, I think this is fine. I think
Okay.
people will get what they get, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's true. That also came off really backhanded when I wanted to be a little bit more front-handed. Like, Kevin, get your fucking shit together.
You know what? That's fair. Sometimes I do need a
Yeah.
slap in the face.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I will go on about Beyonce until the cows come home.
Yeah.
But I mean, enough about me. Who's your pop girly?
So, okay, my pop girly, and this is one of those things that I remember I was talking to you about where I was like, North American gays. For context, guys, I moved here when I was 9 and like have grown up culturally like very South Asian. So like I don't know a lot of like pop culture references in general.
Mhm.
And this is not a dig at North American gays. It's just that you guys really,
Oh,
really
please.
love like
Dig the fuck
you-
away. I don't think you ever have to apologize for being like, listen, I don't mean to be mean to white people. Shut
No,
up.
no, no, no,
Just
no.
say
This
it.
is not white people. This is North American gays. Like North American specifically. It's not a white thing. I'm telling you that I don't have any qualms about calling out white people. I'm telling you it's a North American thing.
All right.
So yeah, you guys really love your like pop music icons and like are super into that whole Stan thing. For me,
We'll get into that
and a
later.
lot of
We'll get into
we'll
that
get into that later.
The
Yeah,
Stan-
we will. I know.
Okay,
I'm excited.
okay.
For me and a lot of other people that might have grown up with Bollywood, it's the Bollywood divas that we love, and we're just as toxic with the way that we love them. We're just as like part of the bad celebrity worship culture. It's just a different language. And mine is this really gorgeous, amazingly talented actress named Madhuri Dixit. She is, I believe, 56 or 57. She was like one of the 90s Bollywood divas. Like she was in all of the like movies and she's a trained dancer. So she was one of the first like really strong trained dancers in Bollywood. She even notably was like paid, I believe, more than one of her male co-stars in the 90s in a movie, which was a really, really huge deal. Not only is she a phenomenal dancer who's been in like a bunch of iconic roles and is super hot, but like even now in her 50s, like I just saw a movie a couple years ago where she had like a lead role and she was dancing in it and it was gorgeous. Like she's evolved, her style has evolved, her characters and the way she plays them has evolved. She plays this iconic character in a Bollywood movie called Devdas.
Okay.
It's like one of the really, really huge ones that even like a lot of white people have seen. The reason a lot of people love her and that character as well as like a queer icon, in my opinion, is because she plays this sex worker. She plays a sex worker who stands up for her people. And that's not something common in Bollywood. In fact, like from coming from a culture where there's a lot of shame around that, you know, her character stands up for sex workers, and I think a lot of queer people really love that about her character, and then, you know, that became something they loved about the actress. So that's who I love. I just really, really, really like her a lot, and I think she's so...
That's great. I mean, I'll ask is, because she's a little bit on the older side, I hate the way I phrased that. She is older. Is there a like narrative to her pop star journey, or is it just like she's always been around, she's always hitting it? You know, is she like a Michelle Yeoh where she kind of like weaves in and out of the industry, always doing her absolute fucking best? Or is it like a Beyonce where she's always been around, she's always been there, you can always depend on her to really do it?
That's an amazing question. The Michelle Yeoh metaphor is really good. I'd say it's somewhere in between, in the sense that like she's definitely weaving in and out and not in as many things now. And she did take a lot of breaks. No, I'd say it's more Michelle Yeoh. She's not in like every single movie, and it's not like she's always been in every single movie. She was in the 90s, but like as the mid 2000s came, you could see her like tapering off and hopefully resting, relaxing. And it's interesting because, you know, technically she's not a pop star. She's not a singer. But I'm like, she's a pop culture icon to me. So I'm calling her a pop star. But yeah.
That's fair. Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Have you always really loved Beyonce? Or is this like, oh yeah, like I heard one album and I was like, oh, now I'm a Beyonce lover?
It took me a little bit. I loved Beyonce. I mean, that's the thing. I am now starting to appreciate music a little bit more. I'm starting to find more artists that speak to me that haven't just been shoved on the top 40. But like, I grew up with Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood. Yeah, and like, that was my introduction. That was my introduction. I'll show you an
introduction.
It's the first douche you've ever met. But
Kevin hasn't introduced in a long time because he hasn't had sex in a while because he's lazy and sad. That was really aggressive. Whoa, that was supposed to be funny. Sorry.
Honestly, I mean, listen, if you're going to be aggressive, be correct. And you were, so I can't be that mad. No, but like, I would say Kelly Clarkson is my she is the one that raised my like music. She was the first one where I was like, oh, this bitch can get it.
Was it Breakaway from Princess Diaries 2?
No. Are you kidding? Okay. Since you've been gone? Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, obviously. Sorry. Yes.
Please.
Yes.
I just have always loved Kelly Clarkson, and she's always been there. And Beyonce's just, I think, more entertaining, but Kelly Clarkson was like the first. She's the one that popped the cherry, if you will. And then and Beyonce was always around, but it wasn't until Renaissance came and I kind of realized what she's done with her career, because she went off for a little bit. She did Lemonade and I was like, good for her. And then she did Black is King, I believe. And that was like its own, it almost felt like its own little Disney Plus thing. And I was like, that's cool. Beyonce's out. She's like done the whole pop star thing. And now she's making music that she wants to make. She's collaborating with the people she wants to do. Feels like she's representing a very specific kind of culture here. So I was like, good for her. And then Renaissance came out and it like blew my fucking dick off. And now I went back and kind of realized that it wasn't just her doing her own thing. It was her taking this aspect of culture and music, putting a pop twist on it and bringing it into the forefront. So have I always stanned Beyonce? No, but in a way, like the way I pay attention and don't kind of speaks to what she's doing with her career. And I think that is so unique.
Totally. No, I can totally get that. It makes sense to me. And I think it's really cool too, like the themes that we're seeing in like her upcoming album, for example, where she's like, I'm going to reclaim country music. Some are theorizing that she's going to do that with rock music too next. Apparently there have been like clues. I don't know the full lore, but no, I'm really excited for it. And I totally get that.
No, I'm calling it now. I think Beyonce is going to piss a lot of people off with her country album. I mean, in the best way possible. Yeah, I think it's going to get worse. I think there's going to be quite a few songs on her album that really disrupt what people think country can do. And I'm excited. I think she like tiptoed around the subject of queer everything with Renaissance. And I think she's going to take her high heel and kick some people in the face. Let's see.
I've already seen a lot of those memes online. There are a lot of like conservative right-wing videos that pop up on my feed because I love sharing them because they're so funny to me. They're like, when we played our country music, y'all called us racist. But now that she's doing it, just because she's black, she can do it. And all the liberals and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes, also. I'm now in the mood of like just agreeing with Republicans where they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, well, are you mad?
Honestly,
oh, no.
I agreed with a Republican the other day, like online in my head. He had this video that was like, oh yeah, if gender's not real, then how come at gender reveal parties there are two options? And I'm like, honestly, thank you for saying what we've all been thinking. You're such an
Yeah,
activist.
I totally agree.
We were talking about like helping people in politics, and we're also talking about celebrities that we love. And like, here is what my problems are with this whole celebrity worship and celebrity stan culture, not
Yeah.
only in Bollywood, but in North America especially. We will project all of these positive traits on these people whose craft we appreciate and assume that they're great people. There are a disgusting amount of war crimes and just like awful things, human rights violations happening across the world right now, not only in India, but also in the Middle East, wherever it is. And all of these people who have all this power, who have really nothing to lose because they're already established, we're seeing are not even using their voices to help. And it's like, I'll see artists like Renee Rapp, who are in the earliest stage of their career and have a lot to lose, being okay with addressing things. And, you know, for example, calling for a ceasefire or talking about the, you know, genocide happening. And I think that's where my comms with the stan culture come from, is that can totally love a celebrity's talent and skill, but you have to, I'm sorry to say it, you have to remember that these celebrities, even Beyonce, and this can coexist with all the cool stuff she's done. All of these celebrities at the same time as they're releasing music and doing cool stuff for their communities are choosing greed and money over potentially saving lives despite their power. And unfortunately,
100%.
it's really been disheartening, and it's made me feel very disillusioned by.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of thoughts on this because I was thinking about this yesterday only because I was reading RuPaul's memoir, and the memoir itself. Why are you screaming at me? How dare you?
Laughing. Why are you reading RuPaul's memoir?
Oh, are you kidding? I love a celebrity memoir. It's my favorite type of book. I love it. I read them all the time. I have multiple YouTube videos about celebrity memoirs. They're my favorite.
Okay, I'm going to read it. Okay, sorry, continue. Now I'm curious.
I wouldn't recommend it, actually. I would get...
No?
we'll talk about it later. Okay, so I was reading her celebrity memoir, and there is this through line of like, your job is to supply like entertainment to the people. Like RuPaul's only goal is to kind of create more light in this world. And that's very relevant in their career. However, I think that's an antiquated viewpoint because these days the world has changed. And I think that there's this mindset that celebrity is just an actress, is just an influencer. And I don't necessarily agree with that sentence because I think that we've gotten to a point in politics where we need more support for things that are important. And I think that, unfortunately, I don't wish it was this way, but I think that we do put so much emphasis on the goodness of celebrity that since that's the case, if a celebrity is going to take advantage of the goodwill people put in them, they have to use that and leverage it for some good project. You know, it's like, I don't think, this is a controversial statement, but I don't think it's okay that RuPaul can be called mother and then at the same time just like not say a fucking thing about like, you know, the Black Lives Matter protests or how like they just got in hot water about how their new queer-owned bookstore is selling anti-trans books. And it's like, the website itself made their statement. They fixed the issue. They fixed what people were mad about. But like, again, RuPaul said nothing. And it's like, that's really frustrating. And it speaks to all celebrities where it's like, Taylor Swift, we would love for you to speak up more. If you're going to take advantage of the I'm a feminist trope, I support women trope, then actually do it. I think Dolly Parton is the last celebrity to get away with say nothing and just be an entertainer. I don't know anyone else since Dolly that's like gotten away with it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
know.
it's... I agree with what you're saying. And I think it's this culture of individualism. Here's the thing. There's no obligation, right? Because if you're an artist, your obligation is not to speak up about political things or human rights violations. But there's a difference between obligation and just like being a decent fucking human being.
That's the thing. I would
Like,
argue that you do have an obligation, because if
I
someone's like, think about how Ellen's entire brand used to be that she's the nice lady. Like,
okay.
so if you're going to be seen as a nice lady, then I feel like you owe it to other people to be a fucking nice lady. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be a cool celebrity who gives things away. I don't care if you do that or not. But if you're going to leverage the brand that people have given you and allowed you to get away with, then I think you owe the world a little more than just like, you know, a fun show every other day, you know?
I still stand by my statement that they don't have an obligation. I do see what you're saying. Now, here's where we get into more nuanced territory. If we're going to use the Taylor Swift example, Taylor Swift says that she's a feminist, so she, you're saying, has an obligation to talk about human rights violations happening during a genocide where women have to use tent scraps as fucking menstrual pads, sure. But unfortunately, now we have another layer. What is this layer? The layer is, do you see people of color as human beings? Why aren't more people angry about her not speaking up? Because they don't see us as the equivalent of humans, right? It's not like this is happening in Texas or some state in the US, because if it was, it would be a huge uproar if she didn't speak up about it. We're just not considered people because we're not, you know, and I shouldn't even say we. I'm privileged. I'm a person of color living in North America. I don't even want to conflate it and try to co-opt their identity. The people who we're not considering human are the people that live on the other side of the world.
Oh, yeah, that's very American. That's very individualistic. And that's kind of the way we've always been raised to treat things, because it's very easy to control. It's very easy to keep in line, you know? Absolutely.
Whew, got fired up.
Good
a
for
little wet
you.
now.
Oh, wow. Oh,
no,
she's sweaty. Not to make this just like a dish sesh, but something that
Yeah.
annoys me, and something I actually think would help this problem, is if stan culture was better at aiming. Does that make sense?
No, let me adjust my mic while I think about what you just said.
Thank you.
Aiming. It sounds like they're taking
We
a
all
piss.
thank you. No, okay, so like stan culture gets angry over the most trivialized bullshit, and often will make a fuss out of like the tiniest fucking thing, which gives other people permission to ignore them. And if stans actually cared about goodness and niceness instead of lifting themselves up in some pious display of performance, I do think the onslaught of attention that they could bring to an issue would actually do some good. Did you see about the stans who flew to each other's house?
Oh my god. No, it was one of them. They're Nikki stans. One of them flew from LA to, I want to say, Arizona.
Am I a Nikki fan?
Was absolutely unhinged. The man shows up, the person shows up, and they're like, I just want to talk. And the other person's recording. And by the way, they're both recording.
No. Before that though, they wait, okay, so they got in some tiff online, right?
Okay,
they got in some
tell me about
tiff
this.
on Twitter. One person recorded themselves in front of their house and was like, come fight me then.
Yeah.
A stan flew from Arizona to Los Angeles to fight, and then they just like filmed each other yelling at each other.
Yeah, and they took it literally, and they did. But guess what? So they're both filming themselves at the same one. They're both filming the stand that flew at the same time. So you get double perspectives when you look it up on Twitter. And also the one whose home it was, their dad came out with a gun and was pointing, and that's what that flashing light was. But here's the thing: the dad is really hot. And people are like thirsting over him, and I was like, "That's so like stupid." So then I looked him up, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's so hot."
I need to look right now. I didn't see the dad. Hold on, this changes everything.
I know. Delete your history because you don't want your friends having like Nikki Twitter stan beef dad gun hot.
Please, have you seen my Instagram? Come on, that's
fair. That's fair.
I'm shameless.
He's a cutie. He's hot. I was like, should I show up and try to fight them too?
Should I make Stan Twitter a little angry?
I don't even know Nicki Minaj like that. I'll just say what I know. I'll be like, Anaconda was not that good. Pink Friday.
I actually think Nicki's butt is small.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that's insane. Just let's get one thing real fucking clear. Jobless behavior. Unemployed behavior. Jobless behavior. I I hate to turn it into this, but like, call your fucking senator. Like, get a hobby. Like, learn to crochet, make a friend, go outside, plant a flower. Like, what can we do? Like, you are filming yourself in front of your house, posting to nobody. Like, baby, there is a life outside of this, and we gotta find it.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and he was just like, "Oh, I just want to talk." You could have FaceTimed.
You could type with your stubby little thumbs.
Sure. Why show up? So bizarre. But also, can I tell you one thing I liked about it? I've always wondered what these account people, like, who are they? What do they look like? And I'm like, oh, it's weird children.
Oh,
it's weird children.
Absolutely. I get it's so hard though, because like part of me existing online is so fucking strange, because part of me wants to pay attention to the comments. Part of me wants to be the person who can read a comment, abusive or not, and just pull out the meaning that they want. But at the same time, a good 70% of people commenting don't know how to communicate. They think that their tone equals like some kind of real communicative structure, and it just comes off as bitchiness and mean, and it only makes it easier for people to ignore them. And I wish, this is what I talk about, this is what I mean when I'm talking about that people need to learn how to aim, where it's like, if you're gonna be mean, bring it, say something of substance, otherwise put it in your fucking back pocket and save it for another time, because you're just giving people permission to ignore you if you're going to be mean and say nothing of substance, you know?
Yeah.
I think we should bring back bullying, but we need to bring back bullying with a purpose. It can't just be like fucking shitting on people's comment section until the day is over.
I told you that I have no qualm shitting on white gays or making fun of them. I think a reason
I don't want to hear about your kinks, okay? That's enough. I know. Look at how quick that was.
That was a good one.
I know.
Kevin! That was so funny. Yay! I liked it.
Every once in a while, I get in a good one.
No, that was great. Okay, like I was saying,
and
I
that's
have no
my
problem.
sexual history.
I'm not going to ask follow-up questions. So I don't mind defecating on the sweaty faces of white homosexuals. And I'm going to prove that right now. And I'm going to tell you that the reason I don't have nearly as bad of an experience with comment sections like that is because I've noticed that yours have a lot of white queers. And white queers are a pretty strong example of like people who don't really understand the nuances of marginalization because of that other layer of privilege that they hold. They tend to be pretty like ignorant or not really fully understanding of like intricacies, where I'm like, again, I'm very lucky, like in my comment sections it's a lot of like racialized people or people from my community, where it's like we actually have really good like debates, and like they bring up really good points and they challenge the shit out of me, and they have strong points and we learn and stuff. So it's, I think, another byproduct of that, where
it does make sense how that's happened though, because you gained your following authentically through talking about issues that are authentic. I gain my following through taking off my shirt for the most part.
Whoa. Do not give me that much credit. That's not. I gained my following from my viral videos of me being like, hey guys, like I'm on the toilet and
and no one likes it. Happy?
No, my content is funny and people like it, and your content is slutty and fun and people also like it.
But my point is that I think often I have a lot of followers who are not used to being challenged in any way, shape, or form, especially from someone that looks like me. So the moment they are seeing someone speak in a way that makes them the forefront of the conversation, they do lash out in a way that I think that they don't exactly know how to handle. So many people are triggered by the it just speaks to how important it is to find someone and meet them where they're at versus shoving them into a conversation they're not ready for.
Yes.
Again, this is my social media profile. This is my space. And I'm not really going to like slow down because someone else isn't ready.
Yeah, totally. And that's another piece of it where I'm like, oh my God, remember on MySpace when it like you literally told the world who your top 5 friends were or whatever?
Bring back like just the most say their names energy. I love it.
Bring back hierarchies.
Honestly, all Elon Musk has to do to win me back is make one music play on a profile, change the color of the backgrounds, and 3
Program
and
every
let
single
me
Tesla so that it runs over us.
yeah, please end it, please just end it for me. Yes, kill me now so I don't have
Continue,
to deal with
continue,
this.
continue.
No, but I want to pick my top 8. I want to pick my top 8, and then I want to be a coward
Yeah.
and pick a top 16, and then I want to back away from that again and pick a top 24. I want it.
Mm,
I want to spend hours a
yeah.
day being like, I don't
Mm,
know. They
yeah.
loaned me a rhinestone tank top. I'm gonna put them in my top 8. I think it's so
Yeah.
good.
Or they loaned you those shorts that you're wearing that you said were loaned. Or
Yeah.
given.
You want to see that twerk again? I know you want to see it.
Let's see it. I love the enthusiasm
This
that you
ain't
bring to
Texas.
this. Oh.
I don't actually know the words. I just like dancing along to it.
Really? I had no idea. It really sounded like you knew every single word. You really didn't have to clarify? Thanks for doing it, though.
You're welcome.
I have no problem also talking about our red flags because I've had it ready for a while.
Oh
my
my
red
God.
flag from today is Kevin's back twerking. Because I was really banking on it being good so I could steal it and pretend it's me. Because you know what my brother's friends had the audacity to say in their group chat? They're like, oh my God, Taha's podcast a friend looks just like him. It's like Taha if he had like a glow up. Excuse me?
Ooh,
And I told my brother, I was like, the audacity. And he's like, no, Taha, but like he's jacked and stuff. I'm like, you go fuck yourself. I'm like, you know what? You want to say nice things about this piece of shit, Kevin? You know what Kevin told me when I was designing the cover? Hey, Taha, wouldn't it be so funny if we were shirtless looking in the miror? Why would it be funny, Kevin?
Cause
why would it be funny?
it's like you get out of the shower and you're in front of the mirror. I honestly, the real reason I just wanted to copy Las Culturistas. That's all. I just wanted to copy. Yeah, that's the. If we're gonna be completely blunt and honest,
I tell people that you suggested it because it was giving like before and after.
No, it does look better with a shirt on. Yeah. It's fine. I want everyone to comment below and tell me that my twerking is awesome, because if they don't, I'm gonna feel real bad about myself.
No, and I'm telling you his twerking is bad. So if you disagree with me, you're silencing queer
below.
People of color.
Give this video. And
I have ADHD and I take a bunch of meds for my anxiety as well. Therefore, I'm like neurodivergent too.
No, you know what? How about this? Comment, but first give the podcast 5 stars.
I'm also an orphan. Below. I'll kill my parents.
Wait, are you an orphan or are you going to kill your parents?
I will become an orphan to become more marginalized.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Yeah,
Diva.
it is.
You can't threaten becoming an orphan. That's just your mental health.
That was ableist.
Well, rate this podcast 5 stars, and then you can tell me what you think of my twerking. That's
what's your red flag?
We're such good friends that I'm having a hard time thinking of a single red flag. Oh, no, my red flag is that you think my twerking is bad. My red flag is that you think my twerking is bad because that's rude, unacceptable, and false. You are spreading falsehoods.
Your twerking is bad.
You see, here's the thing though, how am I?
You also don't say bye on phone calls. That's my second red flag.
We're done. We're wrapped it up. You said goodbye, so I hang up. That's how that works.
No, I'll be like bye, and then the call ends, and I literally text him. I'm like, you didn't say bye.
I know.
And he's
I
like,
do it
what
just
are you
to
doing?
annoy you.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
It triggers so many memories of that horrible man I dated for 3 years, and I get so sad, but also like my blood pressure just increases. I'm like, Kevin, well, what are you doing right now? And he'd be like, haha, it's funny. Or I'm busy.
It is funny. It's funny to see you get so worked up about a word.
I am so emotionally. I'm very sensitive, and I'm emotionally.
That's hilarious.
Volatile.
That's hilarious.
Okay, well, okay, continue. Your red flag. Sorry. Your red flag.
No, you don't think my twerking is good, because now people are going to go online and be like, I agree with Taha. The thing is, you can't be encouraging hate. You have to encourage positivity. If
I can encourage literally whatever I want.
Wow, Taha. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Nini. This is so antagonistic. We have to wrap this up. We're just gonna choke each other at the end of this podcast.
Don't say that. They're gonna get really turned on.
I know.
It's a mine. It's really a mine.
It's a mine.
Oh my God. My green flag from this conversation was, okay, this was our first podcast episode after the big one where we were like, this is going to be our first one and do this. And there was a whole bunch of crap. No, you're not. So, Kevin, stop it.
So see, anyone listening, this is how easy it is to just set him off a little bit. So of course I'm not going to say goodbye on a phone call. Of course.
Yeah, well, that's actually a very fair thing, and I would do the same thing if you were. To be honest, if the roles were reversed, I'd do that because it is funny to me. My green flag is how like fun and like nice and easy this was, because it's not like I was stressing about it being the first episode or anything. I was just like, holy shit! Like I actually really love talking to Kevin, and it was actually really really nice. That's my
I'll
green flag.
piggyback off that as my green flag because I do think this is the first time I've done a project with like other people consistently, and it is so much easier to like pass off different chores and work to others that can do it better than you and delegate rather than just like resent the work because it's such a big responsibility on your shoulders. It's very nice.
So you only like this because of my hard skills and not actually my emotional like self?
No, I
and who
only
am as a
like this
person?
because you're hard.
And you know what? When I posted the podcast announcement, I wrote this really nice thing about Kevin, and Kevin literally wrote, I started a podcast. And I texted him, I was like, Kevin, I wrote a paragraph about you. Haha. And then he edited it and it was better.
Yeah, like why? It's like I don't understand. You've known me for how long? When do you think I'm gonna put in more effort than needs to be put in? Like I don't understand.
I want to be shown love.
Ugh, that's where we end it. I'm sorry, I gotta go throw up a little bit. I'm gonna go just Listerine my ears. Just get this gross wax out of my ears that formed from those ugly centimeters.
All right. Make you okay. I'm telling you, by the end of next month, we're gonna make you an emotionally in tune, feeling based person. Now.
All right. Cheers, miracle worker. How do we wrap this up? Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week.
Much.
I appreciate you, and
Mm-hmm.
see you later, guys.
XOXO Gossip Girl, we love you.